ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 113 of the Classic Wrestling Series. So, the last time we were at this particular company, ladies and gentlemen, was back at episode 95. But, why am I doing this show from this company again? Well, I haven't done one since episode 95, and I want to kind of get some shows in, because for all the bad press it would get back in the day, it was a company that had an amazing amount of talent. But what company am I talking about, guys? Well, I'm talking about TNA. Total Non-Stop Action. What do you think I was thinking about, guys? Anyway, so, TNA. But what show are we watching? Well, why don't we go back to Turning Point 2008. There was a lot of really cool talent around this time, and as well as all that, there was an overarching storyline between the Main Event Mafia and the TNA Frontline, which we'll get into later on in the show, guys. But first up, we have an X Division rankings match. So, 10 wrestlers from the X Division are coming into the ring to basically have a rankings and see where they're going to be. What the fuck? Why is Tanahashi in TNA? Okay then, let's find out. One moment. So, as I said in the intro, Hiroshi Tanahashi was in America. There would be a load of Japanese wrestlers that would go on a thing called excursions. Basically, think of it as wrestling, basically going to different countries and learning different styles of wrestling. The most noticeable person would be Shinsuke Nakamura, coming to America to learn the style of American wrestling to then take back to Japan to incorporate into his Michael Jackson gimmick in NJPW. So they would do this over time. Obviously, TNA at the time would also have a working relationship with NJPW, most noticeably having the IWGP Tag Teams and Junior Tag Team titles being on the Dudley Boys, Team 3D, and the Motor City Machine Guns, respectively, basically to give their belts more shine in America. The partnership would abruptly end after they decided, I think it was Tanahashi, they would give him the Hornet gimmick when the Green Hornet came out. Around the time the Green Hornet came out, Joe would have this manager who would be played by Tanahashi. And they did not like that, so they abruptly ended the relationship with TNA, if I recall. So, getting to this X Division rankings match, we had Consequences Creed, better known as Xavier Woods, Sanjay Dutt, Petey Williams, Jimmy Rave, Voldemort, who was in the World X Cup at the previous event, who would actually go on to win the Ultimate X match, just so then we know where it is in the timeline. Eric Young, Doug Williams, who would also be in the World X Cup for Team International, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Homicide, and Jay Lethal. So a lot of unknown talent / known talent in this world. All 10 men would be on the previous show. I believe Tanahashi was in Team Japan. I could be wrong on that one. But again, Voldemort was in Team Mexico. It was Team TNA, Team Mexico, Team International, and Team Japan, just to round that off. So, in the rankings, we have Sanjay Dutt, who was pinned first, so he gets number 10, and it would go on like that. Voldemort is number 9, Jimmy Wave would be 8th, Homicide would not get pinned or submitted, he would take a very nasty bump after a suicide dive. Consequences Creed would be pinned next, Petey Williams would be pinned after, Tanahashi would be 4th in the rankings, Doug Williams, Jay Lethal, and Eric Young would win, getting a title shot against the current champion at the time, Sheikh Abdul Bashir. This is a typical X Division matchup, guys. This is a high-octane, high-paced, well-done matchup as well, and given the Lucha Libre rules for the tag match. So, quick thing, Lucha Libre tag team is if one man has exited the ring, another man can take his place. So that's what it means by tag team Lucha Libre rules. Again, high octane, well paced. Went a good 20 minutes. Very entertaining. Eric Young was obviously the older guy in the match. Would go on to win it. Like I say, he would go on to face Sheikh Abdul Bashir on Impact. Could be wrong on that one, but he does go on to not win the belt, unfortunately. a lot of people would say that Sonjay Dutt did deserve an X Division title when he does, but he wouldn't get it until 2018 when TNA made their first trip to India, where he would win the belt in India, trying to capture that market, because a lot of companies would be trying to capture, a lot of wrestling companies would be trying to capture the Indian market at that time. Rinka King actually is a TNA idea, which went for about 20 episodes, I believe, in India, and it was actually televised in India, which is a very good idea, I think. But again, trying to sustain two companies and two different two different wrestling companies at the same time would be a bit hard. There is a great interview on that. If I can find it, I'll put a link in the description to Marky D 123's Rinka King videos, because they are phenomenally done. He also did an interview with Jimmy Rave, I believe. I could be wrong. Again, I'll leave that in fact, I'll leave it in the card up here to the video, where if I can find it. I know I can find it, I just need to put it in the card. So next up, guys, we have got Taylor Wilde and Roxy Laveau taking on Awesome Kong, who is the current TNA Women's Champion, and Raisha Saeed. Let's watch this match. So we just had the Knockouts Tag Team match, and I gotta admit, I remember when Taylor Wilde first made her debut in TNA. It was so long ago. It was like 2007, I believe. She would come in, basically Awesome Kong would be having this open challenge. Anybody from the crowd to basically come in and face the champion, who was Awesome Kong. This was off the back of the Gail Kim Awesome Kong feud of 2006, which actually won wrestlers the PWI's feud of the year, if I recall, and it was an amazing feud. Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. Holy crap, that was a good feud. So they were trying to re-spark that interest in that feud by bringing in Taylor Wilde. Taylor Wilde was very impressive. At the beginning she was not exactly good, but with time and a lot of perseverance, she actually became one of the more entertaining parts of TNA. I gotta admit, she had improved a lot until she left in 2010, I believe. Like, she completely left the wrestling industry for a few years before making her return to TNA in 2020, I believe. She had a couple of matches in TNA. Impact Wrestling now. But yeah, this was a fun matchup. Roxy has been with the company since, I believe, 2005, 2006. She was with BKM, better known as the Voodoo King Mafia. That's how she was introduced to TNA. I have mentioned that before, I believe. But yeah, this was a fun tag team matchup. Awesome Kong is, she is impressive as fuck, for God's sake. And Raisha Saeed was very impressive as well. Next up, guys, we had, so again, the overarching storyline is Main Event Mafia, who are the bad guys, who are the veterans, taking on the TNA Frontline, which are the good guys, who are the babyface, who are the young guys. Again, we'll get into that when the first matchup happens, but we do have AJ Styles versus Sting for the TNA title tonight, which I am so looking forward to. That's going to be, hopefully that'll be a damn good matchup. So, let's not waste any more time and get into Sheik Abdul Bashir versus Rhino. Yeah, there's only two title matches on the card. The tag team title match, Motor City Machine Guns versus Bear Money, fuck yes, and Sting versus AJ. So, let's carry on watching the show, guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to show my goddamn age. So, we just had Sheik Abdul Bashir versus Rhino, better known as, Sheik Abdul Bashir, better known as Daivari in WWE. But, I'm sorry guys, we had a surprise appearance from Corporal Robinson, Too Tough Tony, Scott Hall, Violent J, and Shaggy 2 Dope. Jesus fucking Christ. So, they were wearing JWO shirts, or Juggalo World Order shirts. Basically, I don't know how true this is. I think there was a show in Orlando, Florida that ICP were playing, and they were also doing a JWO Juggalo Championship Wrestling event at the same time. Show had finished, and they were just like, fuck it, let's go and watch Turning Point and go and see our boy Rhino taking on Sheik Abdul Bashir. ICP, they are massive wrestling fans. Definitely find Turkish Jericho, where they actually do talk about the ICP is on that show. It is an amazing listen, to be fair. Match was entertaining. There was the running storyline of Sheik Abdul Bashir and Shane Stool, the referee of this match. They would come to blows at the next pay-per-view. Sheik would lose the X Division Championship, blame Shane, and this would lead into a match going forward. Shane would be a former wrestler, had to retire due to injury, became a referee, and that's where we get this match. That's where the friction between Sheik's and Shane's feud would begin. Sheik thinks that Shane cost him the belt. So next up, guys, it is our TNA Tag Team title match. It is Motor City Machine Guns versus Beer Money Incorporated. So we just had Beer Money Incorporated taking on Motor City Machine Guns. This was a fun tag team matchup. Definitely one of the best tag team feuds of 2008 in my personal opinion. Again, when the Motor City Machine Guns would finally win the tag team title belts, they would go on to a best of 5 series with the Beer Money Incorporated, and it is one of the best of 5 series ever. They would involve the the Ultimate X. They would involve the Full Metal Mayhem. They just have a load of great tag team matches, and it was one of the best series going forward. This was just crisp, clean, awesome wrestling. Bit of a cheaty move when James Storm would use the beer to set up the DWI wrestling with investment, which is a overhand powerbomb. But you know, it kind of plays into James Storm's character, so it did work a bit. And you know what? It was a fun tag team matchup. Beer Money get the win. They would go on to face Morgan and Abyss on our, I think it was Impact. I could be wrong. But again, this was just a fun tag team matchup in my personal opinion. So, next up, guys, I believe it's going to be the next match. I do apologise as well. Booker T versus Christian would be for the Legends belt, so I do apologise about that one. Also, ICP were in agreement with Impact to make an appearance, so I just had to double check with that. Speaking of which, we now have Booker T. I have no idea what kind of character Booker T was playing at this time. British... I don't know. I have no idea, guys. It was a bit weird, like just a complete shift from when he was debuting back in 2007. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to Booker T versus Christian for the Legends belt. So we just had Booker T versus Christian Cage for the Legends belt. This was a fun matchup. If Christian wins, he gets the Legend belt, obviously. But if Christian loses, he has to join the Main Event Mafia. Booker T gets the win, so Christian would join the Main Event Mafia. It would then turn out that Christian only joined to get rid of it, then leave the TNA. So this was basically a way just to get him out of TNA for a bit. He would make a one-off appearance at a Slammiversary a couple of years' time. But this was just a way to try and bolster the ranks of the Main Event Mafia. So with that all being said, guys, we have now got Kurt Angle versus Abyss in a Falls Count Anywheres match. Let's not waste any more time, let's get straight to this. So we just had Kurt Angle versus Abyss in a Falls Count Anywheres match, and oh my god, this was fucking good. Like, as a Falls Count Anywheres match, this was really entertaining. They brawled everywhere, from the crowd to the stage. They actually go through the stage at one point, and then Kurt just goes, hello, through the other side of the stage. This stayed in the ring to a point, but it actually was the main point of it. The pin did not take place in the ring. It actually happened at the Spanish announce table when Abyss got European uppercut off a platform and went through the Spanish announce table. That was actually a very entertaining way to finish the matchup. I thought it would have been an Angle Slam at least, because we did see that previously, but you just couldn't have done that safely, to be fair. Maybe if there was a mat underneath the just where the Spanish announce table was hiding, maybe, but bar that, this was a really entertaining matchup. I've got to admit that one, guys. This was a hard-hitting match, and I got to admit, so far, best match for night. I have to admit, best match of the night so far, with the tag team match being second place. I got to admit. So we'll see what our next matchup is, guys. I've got no idea, so let's carry on watching the show. So we just had Kevin Nash versus Samoa Joe. This was a rivalry built on trust over a year, and then Kevin Nash turns on Samoa Joe at Bound for Glory 2008 to set this match up. Joe gets busted open by the turnbuckle. Kevin Nash basically takes the turnbuckle pad off in one of the corners to basically get Joe busted open. This was basically just a back and forth between both men. A lot of DQ, a lot of weapon usage in this singles matchup. Referee gets knocked down, low blow, jackknife powerbomb, gets the win for Nash. Kind of a weird situation, but then again, Joe would go off to create the Nation of Violence when Joe comes back. In about, I believe it was about 8 months' time, Joe would get kidnapped by ninjas. A sentence I've never thought I'd say in my life, but it did happen. So that would set up the match. So, with all that being said, guys, it is time for our main event of the evening. AJ Styles versus Sting for the TNA World Title. Let's get to that matchup. So, we just had AJ Styles versus Sting for the TNA World Title. So, going into this match, the Main Event Mafia was formed about a month or so after this show. It was pretty much after Bound for Glory. TNA Frontline were the originals, and some of the more popular guys basically going up against the veterans. This was a fun match. A lot of high flying from AJ, a lot of ground move and technical moves from Sting. Kurt and Booker T come out to basically try and cause an interference. Does happen, and then Sting gets a roll up for the 1-2-3. Again, it was a good matchup, but I really didn't think it needed the run in. It was just a way to get Sting, to make Sting retain the title. Sting would hold on to the belt until a fatal 4-way match between Matt Morgan, Kurt Angle, Sting, and AJ Styles. This is where AJ Styles would win the belt. But all in all, this was a fun show. What did I think of it? Yeah, entertaining. Best match would have to be the Falls Count Anywhere's match, followed by the tag team match, in my personal opinion. And at the end of it, guys, not the weakest match, but the one that didn't really get the crowd going in wrestling ability was the women's match. But bar that, it was still a very entertaining matchup. So with that all being said, guys, thank you very much for watching my TNA Turning Point 2008 review, guys. So, as I was going to say, I will have the AEW Beach Break review here. I will have the episode of CWS 95 up there. But up here, guys, I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of a history lesson from a guy by the name of Marky D123, where he basically talks about Rinka Kin, TNA's attempt at breaking into the Indian market around 2011. So I'm going to leave a video up there just as a bit of a shout out to him, because he is actually a very good YouTuber. So guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of CWS, and I will see you tomorrow night, well, Sunday morning, for the Royal Rumble. TTFN, guys. Ta-ta for now.